He's got his sticks. He's got his practice.
I told you. Wait a minute. I'm going to tilt it up because this is like... Oh, yeah, now I can pretend I'm doing it. You don't even know.
Oh, no cheating. You could never cheat with me, Matt. You know that. Come on.
You've been doing it and talking for 2 hours.
I know. Whose stupid idea was this, Matt, eh? So would you want to do some singles? Just like, oh! We got a major disaster in the house. Matt's ended up on the floor. Technical wizards, come on. Hang on a minute, Matt. Bear with me.
All right.
We're just doing single strokes, Matt.
Okay.
So we're just going to go right, left, right, left. You've got to get ready now. Out the road.
Do what?
Right, let me just check. This is going to start. Keep it going, Errol. Here we go. Hang on. I'm just going to make sure. Hang on. It's just coming off the stand. Right. Here we go. Okay. Singles, Matt. Right, left, right, left.
Yeah.
You are beautiful. So, how are you, Matt?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? Tired.
I'm beginning to wonder why I did this, to be honest with you, Matt.
Yeah.
And I have to be honest, this morning, everybody has been sending me messages. They don't care less who I am. Enemy have been in touch. The BBC have been in touch. I'm like, contact the management. I don't want to get involved in this. And what do they want to know?
When's the new album coming out?
Did they ask that last time?
Yeah, we haven't even made it yet.
So, Matt, first of all, thank you for doing your hair this morning. It looked a little bit, last time I remember it being a bit wild.
That was that pandemic hair, wasn't it?
It was that pandemic hair. Well, so are you getting ready? You're going out on the road?
Yeah, this is the first practice session to get ready.
Today? It's the only reason you said you'd do this chat today, wasn't it? So you could do some sticking exercises.
Made me to get moving again.
Once a northerner, always a northerner. Look at that, eh? God dear. So seriously, have you been doing anything ready to start?
No, I really have started this week. Started going back to gym. Started getting, thinking about learning the songs.
Wow.
Yeah, doesn't take long to brush up.
So we last did an Instagram live, probably the last one you did, probably. I don't know, a year ago in COVID. I know we don't need to go into anything on your personal life, but I know your personal life's changed in a lovely way. But you personally, how's it been for in the last year on a professional and as a Matt Helders?
As a Matt Helders, good. I mean, that idea of going on tour again kind of like feels real. It seems a bit abstract, like it's not actually going to happen. So,
really? You're headlining Reading and Leeds, Matt, just in case you didn't know.
And I know that people are going and stuff. It just feels, because I cancelled before, or like the ideas that were penciled in never happened. It's like I'm still waiting for like.
Yeah, I think it's fine this time. I think everything seems to be, certainly over here. I don't know what it's like anywhere else.
Yeah,
everything seems to be going now. But do you have to? So coming into getting ready, when you say you're going to the gym now on a serious note and you're starting to rehearse it again, do you have to physically get yourself back into shape for it?
Yeah, and I didn't really realise. I mean, it seems pretty obvious, but I didn't realise the benefit of that until like one of the last time on tour. I really like made an effort to get the stamina up before I went, instead of like relying on adrenaline. Because sometimes I can be like knackered on GoPro, do a gig. But last time I like did a bit of running and stuff before we went, I try and storm a bit easy.
Are you still doing your boxing?
Yeah.
And is that not keeping you sort of going, or?
Well, yeah, I've just like increased that a bit, really. Like I always doing that, and that's like the best for me to do because it's kind of like quick. So
I know you're breaking in and out a little bit, but so I'm gonna, hopefully everyone can catch you and can hear you. So I know it was a few years ago since you did the last tour. I think it's the last time we actually hung out in person, which is amazing. When you're out on the road, without bringing any downtone to this conversation, but obviously we lost Taylor Hawkins a couple of weeks ago, and I think that people really don't understand how difficult it is being on the road. And obviously the bigger the band, the more pressure it is. And you guys are, you're right up there. How do you cope mentally and physically when you're actually on the road?
Well, it is. It's an hard thing to complain about. No one really wants to hear it. But yeah, it's difficult. It's like tiring, and like you miss people, you miss them, or like miss a certain routine or whatever. So I think like the mental side of it is you can like quickly get like in a rut, especially if you are like going out after every night and then waking up and trying to repair the damage. And like I've definitely been there, and like that can get a bit heavy sometimes. But I don't know. I think I've definitely got people around me will tell you that I've got a more optimistic outlook on life than a lot of people.
Yeah.
But you have to definitely check in on yourself and each other when we're on tour.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've always had a thing where you've had mates out on the road with you, whether they've been your techs, which I've got to be honest, I've told you this before, but I always admire that about you guys, that you keep, you know, your mates. And I've been, you know, I've been backstage and you know, all the guys are just down to earth guys. People think it's a joke, but you've kept your feet on the ground, you lot, haven't you?
Well, we've also had the benefit of like we were, you know, like mates outside of the band. Like we've got more to talk about and discuss. Like we don't come off stage and all we talk about is the fact that we're in this band together. Like we find it which well.
Okay, so can you tell anything? Like I said, I don't even want to ask you questions about, you know, when, the name, etc., etc. But can you talk about maybe letting any of your fans know what to expect on the new album?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of like picks up where the other one left off musically, but there's something. It's also this. I mean, it's never going to be like "Are You Mine" and all that stuff again. You know, like the heavy riffs and stuff. But there is definitely a lot of like, there are like riffs there and a bit more up tempo, even though it's not like and loud. It's hard to explain.
Do you think that's to do with you guys getting older, your various influences? Your playing has changed quite considerably.
Yeah,
you know,
the fan side of it, I used to put a lot of focus on like it needs to be loud and fast and impressive all the time. And then as we became more interested in like what's best for the song, and like the playing that we play now is like more difficult, really. But it doesn't look it because it's not all flashy like but
it's just as hard though, Matt, isn't it? Those spaces are just as hard.
Yeah, like keeping a groove like that without like breaking it up with a fill or, you know, like stuff like that is quite difficult.
So how did you discipline yourself to change that in your playing?
Got these really thin drumsticks. And like but no, I think it working with the band, and because we always used to, like when I first started playing drums, we only rehearsed when we rehearsed together. I didn't have a drum kit at home, so I never practiced on my. So we always like that's where we get most done, like when we're doing stuff together. So I think it's kind of like I'm playing a song whatever we're doing at the moment. I'm not just like got playing, which I do as a way of like getting ready for tour as well, because there are still songs in the set.
I mean, do you still find that when you're playing some of those classic songs from the first album, and they call those out, do you feel like, oh God, I've got a workout to do now, I've got to go for this, I'll get the bigger sticks out of the bag?
Exactly. Sometimes, yeah, I look at set lists and I've got to like get past that song and then I can relax a bit. There's like a couple in there that are like, all right, I need to like save a bit of energy for that one.
And do you think that now, I mean, the Arctic Monkeys, what are you, 8 albums in?
This will be 7.
Yeah. So, and obviously, so there's a lot of tracks there now. So do you find that, have you got to the stage now where you go out and you have to play some of those classic tracks, the early tracks?
Yeah, I was talking about this last night to some friends because we were like, we've never played on the dance floor. And they were kind of like, I think you could get away with it in certain places now where like there's enough other material that it might kind of go, might not be much of an uproar as you think it would be. Not like it. And it's not, we're not like desperate to drop it by any, like some of that stuff comes back around and it's more fun again. Sometimes it feels like you're doing karaoke, but then sometimes it's like fun again. But it is like trying to all in on like what's happening now when it's 7 albums that are all quite different to each other.
Yeah. Well, I know Charlie Watts said that. He said, I just hated playing Brown Sugar, but we had to play it every night. For 50 years, we were playing Brown Sugar. So we're going to change slightly the subject. 10 years, Matt. 10 years next month was the last time we actually worked together on the same stage. Do you remember what that was?
For Olympics.
That was the Olympics. I know. First of all, can you believe 10 years? What do you remember about that?
It's definitely the most nervous I've ever been before going on stage.
Really?
There was so much like, it was just like, this can't go wrong. There's no way this is allowed to go wrong. Because they'd already told us, like, we're not going to stop unless someone dies on stage. Like, billions of people, like, break a string, drop a stick. Like, you can't just, like, pause, just, like, keep. And so not only that, but just, like, the fact that loads of people were there and, like, the Queen was watching.
Yeah, well, you know, we saw the Queen jump out of a helicopter, Matt. I mean, that was a big deal. Not many people can say that, can they? Who chose the songs or the song?
I think it was like a conversation between us and Danny Boyle, because he wanted, I mean, he wanted like some like very like side to it, and I think the idea was always going to be like an original song, one of our songs in a cover, and like come together just seems to make sense for something like that.
Well, I think that was always the big surprise, because I know we talked about this off camera, but I remember in the UK, the news being, the media, tabloid media being as bad as it is, breaking the news that there was going to be a Beatles song being played at the Olympics, and they didn't realise actually Paul McCartney isn't going to be playing the Beatles song. Yeah. It's going to be the Arctic Monkeys.
Yes.
Brilliant. Okay. So when does the tour start, Matt?
August.
August.
Yeah.
And how different is it for you to be touring with the Arctic Monkeys compared to Iggy Pop?
I suppose, I mean, even though I'm like friends with all those people too, I felt like a load of pressure in that one, just because everyone I was touring with had been in like doing this for at least 20 years, and we're kind of like, but they all felt that about going on tour with Iggy Pop too, so we were all in the same boat in that way. But yeah, it's different when you're playing with like people that you haven't got the same amount of experience as. Like, if no one can like say to me in my band if I make a mistake,
yeah,
like somebody in that band, bullshit, you know.
Listen, Matt, thank you so much for joining in today. As you know, I've told you that this is their 3rd year of doing Drutmathon live. It is for mental health. It is for children. I always know that whenever I give you a message, you're always up for doing stuff, and I do appreciate that. Hopefully, we can catch up in person this year, and I can see how your power diddles and your double strokes are getting on. Be careful on that motorbike before the tour, and your boxing training. Okay, don't overdo it, will you?
No, I won't.
I'm going to let you say goodbye, Matt. I'm going to let you let yourself out, because I've got to carry on playing the drums.
How's your wrist?
Thanks very much, Matt.
Well done, Matt.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye, Matt. Thanks, Matt. Yeah!